Alright folks, I'm going to get right down to it. The reason why I do not post a lot of squat videos online is quite simple. It is because all of you are very judgmental. That is what being online is like, is being in a panopticon that you just set yourself up to be viewed by and critiqued by all the weirdest existing people on the planet. So to dig into this a little bit deeper, another major reason is I don't think that posting videos of your lifts online for other people to see is very interesting in the first place. There is so much of that content out there. Every single person with an Instagram is posting a video of every single lift that they do. And yeah, you might be somebody who, say, can lift a lot of weight at once, and that might be interesting. You might be someone who has a very unique setup or approach or form or something like that, and that might make your video a little bit more interesting. But at the end of the day, you take one video of a bench press and another video of a bench press, and the only thing that's different is obviously the person under the bar and how much weight is moving. It's a bench press. You know what you're going to get out of it. And so I don't post a lot of movement videos because I just don't think there's a ton of use to it. Obviously, you can, get some enjoyment out of it personally if you're like feeling good about yourself or your body and you're feeling good about the movement you're doing. But obviously what you care about more in that moment, the positive sense of achievement that you get out of it. It's not actually obviously just the amount of weight that you're moving or whatever the case is. The second reason I don't like posting a lot of squat videos online, and probably the more important one, is I have what people might call a sort of non-standard sort of squat, which is to say that I am simply not capable of getting very deep on my squats with the form that feels good to me. And the end result is basically just that I always look like I have a bad squat or like I am intentionally cutting reps high, but that's not the reality. So the reality is that I have just basically one of those hip joints where you really just can't get very deep into a squat without having your back rounding a ton. This is not something that people realize. There's always, all this talk about how it's like, oh, you've always got to squat, ass to grass, or, you've got to do deep squats, or, there's all sorts of making fun of, powerlifters who have slightly high squats and things like that. And the reality is that basically not everybody can squat to the same depth, because there are in fact physical limitations in terms of just like how much range of motion you can get out of your hip joints, how much your bones can move before they literally just rest on another bone. Like there's just no more potential movement. And some people basically just get screwed. Like they just have really bad hip joints that mean that they just really can't get very deep into a squat. And at the end of the day, when you have one of those hip joints, there's nothing you can do about it. Like you can't do mobility exercises to fix it. You can't, do some kind of secret trick. There's none of that. Basically, you are just literally physically limited, and you're always going to be, because that's just the way that your body is. And all you can really do is work around that and obviously take, a slightly higher squat or something like that. I generally find that I can do very deep squats, but when I do, my back rounds very significantly, and it significantly reduces my strength. Like I just cannot handle anything that is very heavy with a very deep squat. And the end result is that all of my squats look a little bit high. And I can assure you, they're not high. It's basically just like literally like I can feel my body hitting like, okay, this is about as deep as we can go. And when I hit that point, you'll kind of see, and I'll post a video over this while I'm talking so you can see it, you'll kind of see that basically what I do is I kind of hit the maximum amount of depth that my hips can go, and then I basically just end up leaning forward a lot more instead of, really getting any deeper, because that's really the only way that I can sort of get that sensation like I am really getting down to depth. And that obviously means that I have a very hip dominant sort of squat. And it also means that my squats always stop a little bit high, and they don't look good, and people always make fun of me for it. I have posted videos in the past, and I have always gotten, and maybe not even things where people make fun of you, but things where people talk to you like you don't know what you're doing. I have been squatting at this point for 15 years. I have been a coach for 10 years. Trust me, you can recommend every single thing in the world that you think is going to fix my squat. It is not going to do that, and I am very tired of hearing all of your suggestions. And again, this is me being as nice as possible. But you get a lot of weird random people on Instagram or elsewhere or whatever who are always out to critique you or to offer advice that may or may not be helpful. Additionally, reason number 3 is simply that I have basically scoliosis. So I have scoliosis of my upper back. As far as I know, it is congenital. As far as I know, similar situation, there's not really anything that I can do about it. Scoliosis obviously means that my spine is a little bit wavy, it's a little bit weird. So again, same sort of thing. I post physique photos where I show my back. I get a lot of people talking about how I could fix this if I was just to do more back exercises or something like that. Which is extra funny because people posted this to me when I was in the depths of my calisthenics phase, 2020 through 2022, when I was mostly working out at home. And a lot of my training just boiled down to a lot of pull-ups. That is just the reality of things. You post anything that people can perceive as having some kind of flaw, they're going to critique it a lot. The other side effect of having this scoliosis is that my squat is very unstable. I do not have the stability in my upper shoulders, upper back that I would like. And this impacts my squat and my overhead press. As a result, I have always been very good at bench pressing. I have been very good at deadlifting. I have been absolutely awful at squatting and overhead pressing. Now again, you can offer all the critiques you would like. I have put the exact same, sort of level of effort into training all of these lifts, the last 10, 15 years. It is not something, again, that, I can train around. It is not, it's not something that can be fixed. I have tried everything. That is just basically the way my body is set up and the way my body reacts to things. And it's just something I have to deal with. And as a result, when I am sharing things, posting workout videos or selfies, physique photos, whatever the case is, doing stuff to fuel the algorithm, doing stuff to, put up content, doing stuff to, maybe talk about things that are helping people or whatever, I'm going to tend to avoid posting videos of squatting, going to tend to avoid posting videos of my overhead press, going to tend to avoid posting pictures of my back. And, it's not even like I go home and cry about it or something like that. It's not even that it's just oh, I'm so sad that people are being mean to me about my squat again. No, it is just that I'm tired. I just don't want to go through the effort. It's like if you had to go through a, part of your daily job, is to go post online. And then a part of your daily job is trying to do all this stuff, making content to try and reach out to people, to try and help people, to try and make their lives better. And in the process, help develop your business. And there's just some people who are going to critique you no matter what. And people are going to be mad, and people are any innocuous statement, somebody is going to come out and pop up and say something about how actually it's the opposite. It's just, you look after a while to minimize the amount of this BS that you have to deal with, because it just is going to drive you absolutely bonkers sooner or later if you do pay attention. So anyway, this is all to say, this is my one video. This is it. I am posting it. Here you've seen in this video how terrible my squats look, and, that's it. No more. I'll post occasionally some videos when I feel like I have a point to make or whatever the case is, but that's really it. And I think that, you need to be able to set boundaries in your life, right? Everybody deserves to be able to set boundaries about how they engage with other people, how they engage with the internet. And you don't have to be expected to just put everything out there all the time and open yourself up for just an unhealthy amount of input from other people. You don't need to do that. Do whatever it takes to safeguard your mental health. Do whatever it takes to make this a sustainable, existence on the internet for you. In my case, this is how I do it. These are the steps that work for me. So that is all for this week's video. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me down below what you would like to see in future videos. I will talk to you all next week. Finger guns. Have a good one. Bye.